Hello, everybody, and welcome to HTC Invitational. I'm your host, Nimsh, and I'm joined here by Monk, who will be my co-host for today. Monk, how are you, man?
I'm great, Marcin. Dimsh, it's going to be a great day because we have such a great tournament lined up for you guys. 16 of the best players in the world all together competing in this great tournament sponsored by HTC. Sponsored by a great company, I would say, that makes such great phones, such great tablets, but I'm sure you'll be hearing more about them throughout the day.
Oh yeah, obviously, and they are the main sponsor of the tournament. The tournament will have a $5,000 prize pool. The winner is going away with $2,500. That's a lot, you know, for 2 days of playing card games.
Yeah, like who would thought in this day and age that we would be able to play card games on our phones and tablets, and we'd be able to make so much money off of them.
That's pretty crazy. And our players will have, as you mentioned, 16 best players in the world. They will be playing in a conquest format. That's a Blizzard format. The best of fives. Right now you can see the bracket. Those are our guys. Neirea versus Forsen is going up next. And then we might mix up the matches a bit, but the bracket will be as you can see now. So Ecop Ties, Tides versus Zalae, Strifecrow versus Dog, Colento Firebat, Savitz Hyped, Show, RDU, Trump, Chucky. Monk, are you excited for this bracket? Like, there is a lot of intense matches in front of us.
Oh, definitely. Like, if you were just looking at the bracket, you would notice that half of the players, 8 out of 16, were sponsored by HTC. They're either from Team Cloud9, Team TSM, or from Team Liquid. So half of them will be playing for HTC, and the other half will be playing against the quote-unquote HTC home team. So I think it's a really great storyline. How many players from the HTC team can take their matches? Will it be 4? Will it be 5? Will it be 3? Or will they go 8-0 or 0-8?
What are the predictions? Because I know we run a poll and people actually voted to see what's going to happen. So what are the predictions from the community?
Well, to be fair, in the poll, I think most people voted either 8-0 or 0-8, but I don't think that's quite too realistic. It's just that a lot of people in the community like to say, oh, 0-8 boys, for example.
All right. Well, we are saying that because it's actually a single elimination bracket. So every match we're going to show you guys till tomorrow is going to be an elimination match. But our players are ready. Neirea versus Forsen. You can already see game number 1 in HTC Invitational.
Oh, wow. Yeah, what a brilliant game. We're going to start off with, it's going to be obviously a Patron Warrior against a Mage. And I believe that Mage is from Forsen, and Neirea will be playing the Patron Warrior.
Alright, so let's talk about the classes first. Forsen is running Mage, Shaman, and Warlock. And Neirea is running Druid, Warlock, and Warrior. Who do you think has an edge here? Because it is Conquest, and every deck has to get at least one win.
Well, judging from the lineups, there's going to be Mage, Shaman, and Forsen, and Warlock from Forsen. And what that leads me to believe is that the only reason you would play Shaman is if you're playing Mech Shaman. And if you're playing Mech Shaman, you're very likely to also bring Mage, Mech Mage, and Zoo to the format. So we could be seeing a lineup that's specifically targeted against Druid. Of course, Mech Mage, Mech Shaman, and Zoo are 3 of the best decks against Druid. And because Neirea is running Druid in this lineup, he may be in a bit of turn.
Alright, that's a valid assumption. So for Neirea, he is running that Warrior deck. What is... Alright, so this is the Green Patron deck. We see the Dread Courser, because you know that Fire Warlocks can be anything at this point. Can you tell us more about the Green Patron deck? Like, this is one of the most powerful decks right now, but maybe not all of our viewers are actually aware how this deck works like.
Yeah, well, first of all, we apologize for not being able to see Neirea's hand. Unfortunately, there's, at least for this game, there seems to be kind of a spectator mode bug. But we're going to just kind of be commenting it from Forsen's angle. He's pretty much playing a ladder game at this moment. And I'm not sure if he's too happy with what's happening right now because the Patron Warrior has the board and it'll be really hard for Forsen to take it back. But yeah, as for the Grim Patron Warrior, it's pretty much like the hottest deck right now. And it's a deck that relies on so many combos, and especially the new Grim Patron card that allows it to just fill up the board. That gives this deck so many win conditions. So I wouldn't be surprised if at least like 80% of the players at this tournament either brought Grim Patron Warrior or Control Warrior in order to counter a Grim Patron Warrior.
Yeah, that definitely makes sense. This deck is also great versus aggro decks. And as we can see, Forsen is running Mage, which is an aggro deck. The problem that Mage has with this deck is that there is not really a good way to remove the board when the set Green Patron enters and copies itself. And also, a lot of minions have to attack, and Green Patron can just attack into them and multiply. So if Mage is not able to snowball and deal enough damage to Warrior, then it is really in trouble. And right now, Forsen is in trouble already.
Yeah, just so many tempo cards from Neirea, and even though he is resting on 2 cards in his hand right now, because he has the board, I would probably put him in the advantage. There's just so many options to draw cards from the Grim Patron Warrior. For example, like a Whirlwind plus Battle Rage would be just really excellent. And we even see Slam for Neirea, a card that's not too common in Grim Patron Warrior, but it's still definitely very valuable as kind of like a cycle card. Oh, there we have the Whirlwind again, and judging from this play, we might even see a Battle Rage here drawing even more cards.
Oh, a Flame Tongue Totem for Forsen, not really a happy ending for the Pirate Shredder.
Yeah, quite unfortunate. Unfortunately, it's going to be a little slow from Neirea. He drew 1 card from the Acolyte, but he isn't going to get any more. So at this point, Forsen just might be able to kind of just outvalue the Patron Warrior at this point, even though he himself is running low on cards as well. But oh wow, what a great play, throwing a Cruel Taskmaster in.
Oh yeah, definitely. This is also important because if there will be like there's a couple of cards that Neirea could use to counter Mirror Entity, but definitely Green Patron is not one of them. You don't want to give your opponent a Green Patron to copy it, especially a Mage that can use his hero power to multiply the patrons.
Yeah, and we can see Neirea, he's like shaking his head a lot because he's probably very unhappy with the draws that he's gotten. But Emperor Thorazane on turn 7, it's certainly no Dr. Boom, but I think Neirea will take it, especially because he has 5 cards in his hand right now.
Maybe that's why he was shaking his head so much. Having Thorazane in his hand before, he was thinking like, yeah, I want those combo parts because I want to get them cheaper. But maybe his hand is full of reactive cards like Executes, maybe Second Slam, like cards you don't really feel you need to copy.
Oh, what a great Blast Mage. I think that pretty much went perfectly for Forsen. Every hit needed to go exactly where it went. He either needed 1 to the Emperor or 4 to the Emperor, and he would have been fine with either.
So what can Neirea do right now? There is some kind of board. Forsen hand is lackluster, like there is not much. There is the Frostbolt, which is obviously great versus Green Patrons, if there is one Patron. But if Patron can multiply, and there is a Whirlwind here, I wonder if Forsen is able to stop this board.
Yeah, it's going to depend on whether Neirea also has a follow-up. Even though he has no mana left, there's always the possibility of 1 mana spell is being reduced by Emperor, but unfortunately that isn't going to happen for him right now. And Forsen, at this point, he'll have to go on the defensive and kill off all these Grim Patrons before they multiply, because they represent a huge stud for him currently.
Yeah, but it won't be a problem with this board. He should be able to clear easily and then just start getting an advantage. It's important also that normally the war deck is not running any brawl. So if Forsen is able to stabilize, like clear the board right now, stabilize, and start pushing for damage, it might be difficult for Neirea to come back. He used double Whirlwind already. He used this is the second Acolyte, so he still has some cards to draw, but with 1 Green Patron used as well, it might be tough to clear without brawl as well.
Yeah, we might actually be seeing somewhat of a sequencing error for Forsen this turn. I think he's considering killing off the Armorsmith now, but he definitely should have done so before killing off the first Grim Patron.
I think he just got excited that he has this Frostbolt for Green Patrons. Like, yeah, I can remove this right now without any problems.
Yeah, I mean, you want to get rid of Patrons as soon as possible, so it was definitely the play to kill it off with the Frostbolt, but maybe just Forsen got a little bit too excited, I guess.
Yeah, look at his face. He's so excited right now.
Definitely, the excitement is just tantalizing for him. And look at this Mage. He played Ice Barrier because now he has 7 armor.
Yeah, it looks like that. So for people who are joining us right now, This was not a nice barrier, and this is not a mix-up Freeze Mage, Mech Mage. By the way, this is the moment where Mech Mage has a lot of advantage. If he just pushes the board, Warrior doesn't really have that many comeback mechanisms. Like, there are no shield blocks, no Brawl, I believe, unless Neirea is running a Tech Brawl. Sludge Belchers, like some Green Patrons do play Sludge Belchers, but not all of them. It's not a common card, let's say. I wonder which 4-drop is Neirea running. Well, for sure Deathspite, but I was mostly thinking about Piloted Shredder or maybe Nomish Inventor.
Yeah, and like some decks don't even run that many 4-drops, and like I guess Pilot Shredder is kind of a tech against. It's just a very solid all-around 4-cost minion. Oh man, Dr. Boom, here we go.
That was the card he needed right now. I wanted to say that Dr. Boom is something he definitely needs. If he would get like a Mech Warper, he would start getting behind, but with Dr. Boom, he just continues to pressure Neirea.
Yeah, fortunately for Neirea, though, he has at least a decent answer to these boom bots with the Deathspite equipped. He's already used 2 Whirlwinds, so without this Deathspite with 1 charge left, Neirea would have been in somewhat of a precarious position.
Oh, he has Grommash, so he can trade with Boom if he wants to. Unless Grommash dies to double bombs.
Oh, no.
Wait, is it double? Okay.
Okay. Oh, so yeah, Neirea just a bit of a sequencing. He kind of replays Forsen for that sequencing error because he made a sequencing error himself. So basically, Neirea is just giving back that 1 armor to Forsen. And both hands are looking kind of anemic right now, but if Forsen draws the Archmage Antonidas from the top, he's going to be in a pretty huge lead with the Finicky Clowfield.
If there is a Green Patron and a Warsong commander for Neirea, then that would be amazing, right? Like getting the Warsong and just spawning the board with Green Patrons.
Yeah, this is...
But...
Oh.
Wow.
It's kind of a bottom deck at this point. Like, Forsen can't even play this.
Yeah, but then there is important to mention that Forsen is getting Neirea lower and lower, and he has the Finicky. So if he gets Antonidas, he's going to stealth it and just get a lot of fireballs.
Yeah, but as right now, Neirea pretty much needs to put Forsen on the clock. He has to say pretty much like, okay, I have to win in the next 2 or 3 turns because if I let Forsen draw into this Archmage Antonidas, then he'll be able to put me on a clock.
Yeah, but this turn for Neirea was amazing. Just getting those patrons alive. Also the Frauding Berserker. Forsen getting Med Scientist is not really doing much. He used both of his secrets. Those decks like Mech Mages are only running double Mirror Entity.
Yeah, unless he teched in a counterspell, which I find probably unlikely for Forsen, then this Mad Scientist is just going to be a completely dead draw. It's going to be a vanilla 2-2 because both Mirror Entities have been used already.
It's even worse because it has 2 attacks, so you can actually multiply the Green Patron.
Exactly. Not only does it multiply the Green Patron, but it also buffs the Frauding Berserker. So, like, I guess like most of Forsen's deck is just completely unplayable right now. Like Mech Warpers are unplayable, Neurotrons are even unplayable, Mad Scientist is unplayable.
Yeah.
Exactly.
Yeah, this is a really grim situation for Forsen.
Pun intended.
Yeah, definitely. Well, but still, you don't concede. Like, even though this looks terrible, if you get a second Frostbolt in that Frauding, if you get Antonidas next turn, can you still win? Antonidas self, pink face, and well, it doesn't look good. It definitely doesn't look good. Oh, he's just trading. He's getting a spare part. He wants a freeze. Stat swap.
I think he's setting up right now in order to get like the biggest Antonidas possible or the best Antonidas possible.
Oh, Battle Rage.
Yeah. Finally, Neirea draws some cards and even Warsong Commander on the field.
So he plays Nomish Inventor.
Okay, that probably means there's less of a chance for Piloted Shredder in his deck, for example.
Yeah, true. But it means that his deck is more stable this way, and Neirea has all the things he wants right now. Forsen would love to have a Flame Strike, but I would be really surprised to see a Flame Strike in a Mech Mage.
Yeah, we've seen like Pyroblast and Mech Mages before, but I certainly have never seen a Flame Strike in a Mech Mage.
I think I've seen a couple of them at rank 15
Okay,
while
okay.
grinding. It happens sometimes, but in a tournament setting, I don't think I've seen it once.
Ooh,
All right, so
switching.
Forsen trying to stay alive with
Yeah.
reversing switch.
It's no 119 Frothing Berserker, but I guess this will do.
So how much damage is there right now? That's 13 points of damage. Yep, no way to come back from this being Forsen. This means no Flame Strike in the deck. Antonidas wouldn't cut it. It will give Forsen a couple fireballs, but not enough time to survive. So Neirea is going to take game number 1, win with his warrior.
Yeah, and you know what? I don't think Forsen is too upset. Of course, he would have liked to win that game, but again, it seems like with the lineup that Forsen brought, I definitely expect. First of all, we've seen Mech Mage, but I also definitely expect Mech Shaman and Zoo from Forsen's lineup. So there'll be 3 decks that'll match up really well against the Druid, and I think it'll all just come down to if Neirea can take the game with the Druid, any game at all. Pick a
And
game, any game.
yeah, I agree. Because Druid might have, it definitely will have trouble versus Mech Mage, Mech Shaman, and if this is Zoo, it's also not that good versus Druid. But on the other hand, Neirea should be able to guess what kind of decks Forsen is bringing. And a bracket was posted before the decks were submitted, so maybe Neirea brought Druid with some changes, bringing maybe more taunts to deal with this card with the aggression. Maybe he's playing a Mill Druid with Tree of Life and a lot of draw.
I find that less likely, but it's certainly a possibility. And for this game, we're going to be seeing Mech Shaman versus, I want to say a Handlock, but okay.
This is
judging from this hand-
Malygos.
Yeah, this is Malagod Warlock, and it's gonna be it's just a great deck. It's a deck we really haven't seen too often, but it's certainly popping onto the scene lately. Mr. Yagut, for example, got rank 1 legend with this Malagod deck, and Super JJ got rank 2 legend. And another European player whose name escapes me also got rank 2 legend. So it's certainly a very powerful deck, and one of the probably the best dragon deck right now.
Oh yeah, I certainly agree. So for people who are seeing this deck for the first time, I believe the one who designed the original list was Super JJ, and then a couple of players picked it up, changed a couple of cards. Basically, you do have Zombie Chows, you do have Morlocos, you do have that anti-aggro early aggression, and then you do have Malygos, you do have 5 dragons overall, you have Twilight Drakes, you have Azure Drakes. You're running Blackwing Corruptor, the new 5-drop 5/4 that deals damage when you have a dragon in your hand, and you do have Soulfires, you do have a lot of burst with Malygos. You obviously try to get the costs of cards reduced by Thorison, and then you play the dragon, Malygos, and you burst your opponent. So a very interesting build.
Yeah, unfortunately that Sunfury Protector dies off, but another one is drawn to replace it. It's kind of funny how that Mech Warper was just sitting in between the 2 Anoatrons, being like, hey guys, protect me. But I guess the Anoatrons, they didn't do as great of a job as he would have liked. Oh, pretty great play from Forsen here. He gets rid of both shields, but he does play around the Defender of Argus in Neirea's hand right now.
Yeah, pretty good. He knows more or less the build, and Defender of Argus is staple in those kinds of Warlock decks. But there's the Twilight Drake dropped by Neirea. 4/8 into the Earthshock.
Yeah, this is actually quite an interesting variation of the Dragon Malagod Warlock, because we see the Imp Gang Boss instead of Blackwing Technicians, and that's certainly a change that I guess it makes the deck more stable, but at the same time it weakens the total potential of the deck. We also saw Shadow Flame in this deck, so definitely another card that's probably not too common in this kind of deck.
Oh yeah, but I like the changes. Technician is a bit weird and awkward sometimes, where you just have to play it without the dragon hand. Then it's just a 2/4, a blank. And here, Imp Gang Boss is really similar and a much better card. But then what does it say about Technician? Is Technician a bad card then? Because we'll have an alternative, just slightly better for Warlock at least.
Yeah, I guess this is kind of like the Piloted Shredder versus Fireguard Destroyer debate. Do you just run the really good card, or do you run the card that was given to you as a class card, basically?
Yeah. Alright, so for now, Forsen is building up a nice board. Instead of going for face, he's just stabilizing with those mechs. He hopes there is no Shadow Flame. There is a Shadow Flame, but there is not really a good target to use it on.
And wow. Mr. Emperor Thorstein comes down on the field, and that's certainly going to be exactly what Neirea wants. Look at all these free spells in his hand. He has like some backstabs, he has some... Elven
He basically
Archers,
unnerved Soulfires. This is the pre-nerf Soulfire, and it's beautiful.
Yeah, this healing totem will get a lot of work done, but if Neirea can somehow... Oh, there's the Malagos. If Neirea can somehow get down an Azure Drake plus Shadow Flame on this turn, I think he's going to be pretty happy.
And this is a great combination as well, because Shadow Flame deals 5 points of damage. Spell damage is buffing Shadow Flame. He still has those Soulfires and a Malagos, so lots and lots of damage.
Now, Neirea doesn't have a second AoE here. He would really like a Hellfire, for instance, so I think we might even see a Soulfire on this Whirling Zap-O-Matic, because because Marcin, I know you were at DreamHack, the one that Stan Sivka won, and you were able to commentate that great game of Fire Badges, winning on turn 3 with a Whirling Zap-O-Matic.
He even had an Airshock in hand, and he could cast Airshock on turn 3 if there would be a taunt. There was no taunt, and he didn't need to cast it, but basically Fireball won with Zap-O-Matic. Double Rockbiter on turn 3. Here we are not going to see that, but... Okay, what's the minion from the Shredder? It's a 2-2, that's not really exciting. But it's alright for Forsen, better than Doomsayer. Oh man, what do you do with that 8/8?
Oh, I guess you cloak it. Yeah, very
nice.
Yeah,
you do cloak it. I'm from the Neirea's perspective. A stealthed Fell Reaver. This Fell Reaver is in the middle of the field, a big giant guy, and you can't see it.
Exactly. Free Mortal Quill, free kill a Whirling Zap-O-Matic here. And he's able to see the cards that are burned. And oh wow, Ragnaros, that was such a key one to get burned, and Forsen feels it. Neirea should also, he should be keeping track of these cards, because one Crackle has been burned, and that's also a really nice one. I think Neirea's just gonna play his... Yeah, yet another burn. So many cards are being burned right now, and it's even possible that Neirea just mills at his opponent. Second Crackle. Yeah, exactly. So there's no direct damage in Forsen's deck right now, because typically these decks, they only run... So, oh my god. Every card is being burned.
Yeah, look at this. Are there any cards? No, he milled him fully on this turn. Forsen has no cards in his hand or deck.
Oh my god. I think that's it. There's no way for Forsen to win at this point. He can't get past these taunts. Oh, Neirea is just smiling so much. The combination of Emperor Thorstein plus this Fell Reaver that Forsen played just kind of shut Forsen out of this game.
The power of unnerved Soulfire. This is why Blizzard nerfed it. And it's even better. You cast it, you deal 4 damage, it's for 0, and you mill 3 cards. Look at the power of that card.
Yeah, definitely a very exciting game there. Very funny ending, I have to say. Typically Fell Reaver isn't as punished that much, but when you have so many 0 cards, 0 mana cost cards in your hand, I guess you can just burn 20 of your opponent's cards in a single turn.
I would say normally Fell Reaver is not punished that much, but if you're a Forsen, it is.
Never lucky. Baby
Never
rage.
lucky. Alright,
exactly
so...
what Forsen would say.
Yeah, definitely. So Neirea is having a lead 2-0 versus Forsen, and Forsen on the verge of elimination from this tournament. If Forsen loses the next game, he's out. He's 0 Forsen. Because we are going to grant him an extra loss. If Forsen loses 0-3, we grant him an extra loss, so he is 0 Forsen.
Yeah, but you know what? It still is looking kind of alright for Forsen, because this is his game plan. He needs to beat the Druid. And it's all 3 of his remaining decks are going to have excellent matchups against the Druids. And even with a really great hand from Forsen this game. But you know what? Oh man, there's the Zombie Chow turn 1. So even though it's such a great hand for Forsen, Neirea just might be able to clutch it out. And we see a pretty interesting card, the Faceless Manipulator. That's actually like a tech from Mr. Yagut. Mr. Yagut recently, he got rank, or not rank 1, but pretty high with this kind of Druid deck that had a Faceless teched in. And with the Faceless, you're able to Faceless Emperor Thorzanes, for example. Or there's just so many good cards that you can Faceless in the metagame right now.
Are you saying that Mr. Yagut got first with the Maldigot deck, and then he went even further beyond with the Faceless Druid?
Exactly. Just like a player that's not really recognized as much, but you can definitely tell that everyone respects him because everyone's running his decks right now. I definitely expect there to be at least another Dragon Warrior or Dragon Warlock in this tournament. And also, we even saw this Faceless Manipulator being run by, I believe, Jab in deck battles this week, right?
Yeah. Definitely Faceless is a nice card. You can copy Thorison, you can copy even a Sludge Belcher or all the key cards. But right now, Forsen is doing pretty good. He has that Spider to Shredder, he still has Blast Mage, and a couple of good cards to snowball. But then Neirea, just swiping. This will be very important what the minion it is. It needs to be like a 3-2.
Oh, this is good. Even better.
It's good for Neirea.
Yeah, but at least, you know what? At least Forsen, he was able to get rid of this Zombie Chow, and he was kind of able to somewhat bypass it. The Zombie Chow didn't get too much value, and now Forsen can throw out his weaker creatures.
Yeah, like look at the Faceless value right now. Would you Faceless?
Oh.
One of the Cog Masters? It
Almost
can fix anything. Can it fix the board state?
You know, it's the Cog Master, he says I can fix anything, but how often does he actually fix stuff? He's not an upgraded repair bot.
Yeah, he's mostly trying to fix your opponent's face. But most of the time it works. Like, look at this. He tried to fix the armor.
Well, there's going to be a top deck swipe. Oh, unfortunately not.
The Wildgrove. So, yeah, like, not much to do here. Faceless, not really great, but might be a necessity to put a 4-4 on the board. So Neirea is going for Wildgrove. Do you attack with the Shade to get rid of the mech? I think you do. Killing a mech is always good. Well, alright, not always, but versus Mech Mage, you want to clear mechs to deny the mech synergies. And in this case, he kind of denied the Blast Mage.
Yeah, exactly.
This turn at least.
Yeah, two mad scientists in Forsen's hand right now. It's kind of good, but at the same time kind of awkward because you're really you probably really don't want to see both of them at the same time because it's possible for your opponent to kill off both of them on the same turn and then proc Mirror Entity, so you don't get as much value.
True. But here the game is really close to being over. There are no taunts for Neirea. Forsen decides to trade and get that Mirror Entity, which is actually a great move. Getting Neirea to 6, not really a way to come back from the situation with a full board, no swipe, no clear. But this is a really bad matchup to begin with.
Yeah, exactly, and it was exactly what Forsen was targeting. So again, Forsen, even though he starts off the series pretty poorly with 0-2, I think it's very possible for Forsen to come back now, and he's going to be able to take this game, and he's going to be left with Mech Shaman and Zoo against Druid. And even though both of those decks are slightly worse against Druid, he's still going to be in a very advantageous position.
Oh yeah. Alright, so game number 3 is over. Forsen is taking game. He's taking the win here. 2-1 for Neirea still. And no Forsen boys. So Forsen is fighting back. Can Neirea win with the Druid at least one game?
Yeah. Now you say like Forsen boys, but that's not exactly true because it's not like Forsen always does so poorly in tournaments. It's more that he's kind of inconsistent in the sense that he either goes 0-4 or he goes 4-0 in tournaments. For example, at the Gfinity Spring Tournament #1, Spring Masters Tournament, he actually just went 6-0 against his group in the group stage. Pretty great start, I would say, from Forsen. So maybe just a little inconsistent, maybe a little streaky player, but certainly not a bad one.
Oh yeah, and the 4-0-0-4 means that he's going for the risky strategies. And if he hits the strategy, if he hits the sweet spot, he is getting there. Definitely an excellent player. That's why we invited Forsen. Like, it's always a pleasure to watch what he's bringing. And right now he's bringing a very intricate and interesting deck that requires a lot of skill, which is a Zoo.
Well, you say that kind of facetiously, but Zoo is regarded by many players as one of the decks that requires the most skill. In fact, StrifeCrow most famously said, you know, I think I play most decks perfectly, but with Zoo, I'm never sure. But you know what you can be sure about? Innervating, coining, a Keep of the Grove on turn 1. And this is kind of like the blowout play in this matchup, at least.
Yeah, because you not only kill the one drop, you can also counter whatever happens. He still has the Wrath on turn 2. He can even play that BGH. Oh, he has the Shade on turn 3. So an amazing opening for Neirea. Even though Zoo is favored in this matchup, with this hand, it will be tough. Like, Forsen is already fighting an uphill battle here.
Exactly. Knife Juggler, at least it's something, but Neirea has the Wrath to get rid of it, and then he has the Keeper follow-up for the Nerubian Egg, so pretty much all the answers for Forsen, or for Neirea right now, and it'll be up to Forsen really to get a really good implosion here, and for Neirea not to draw into a swipe. That's pretty much what he needs.
Imagine if there would not be... Like, if Neirea decides to play the Shade, oh my god, he actually goes for the Shade?
Yeah, he might get punished here, because if Implosion rolls pretty high, and then...
the knives kill
the knives, yeah, the knives
else.
can kill the Shade. Yeah, it could just be just devastating for Neirea.
Yeah, this looks like a setup turn, but then the Forsen didn't really set anything up. He just played the cards in his hand. So honestly, I want to see the Shade here, but unfortunately Neirea reads this. I wanted to see the Shade because I wanted to see those RNG knives flying, you know? They are fun to watch.
I really like this play because you're kind of in such a good position right now that you kind of want to be a little safer.
Yeah, it was the correct one, especially like on turn 4, and you know that Zoo is running double Implosion. Like, this card is so good.
Oh, Bane of Doom. That could be
Bane
another
of Doom is interesting. It can bring Mal'Ganis.
Yeah, but you're not too sad about if Mal'Ganis comes on the field. You can always like faceless it and then BGH it the following turn.
All right, so what do you do now? Just playing Keeper doesn't seem that great. Is Shade an option? Just bring up Shade but then again, like, you want to play Keeper, kill something, and then next turn maybe play Shade and Shapeshift.
Yeah, it's just the curve is kind of awkward for Neirea at this point. Whereas the Zoo player, because he has such low cost minions in his deck, he's able to curve so much better. Like, this is like the second turn in a row where Neirea floated 1 mana. I would say it's probably the correct play, but Neirea is definitely unhappy about it, especially with the opening that he got.
And look at this, like, with that opening that you mentioned, Neirea doesn't seem to be in a great position here. With no swipe, it might be really troublesome.
Savage Roar, no, that's not what you need.
Another floating mana, though. He is going to play that Keeper, kill the 3/2, and I believe attack into the 1/1. He doesn't have to attack into the 1/1 here. He might just kill the Juggler and pass, because next turn he will be able to shapeshift the 1/1, or maybe attack the 1/1 with a 2/4 and use the 4/4 Shade to kill the 4/4 Nerubian.
Yeah, so that's 3 turns in a row where Neirea floated 1 mana.
Oh, there is a Doomguard. That's 8 points of damage. So it's 15 points of damage for Forsen, but now it's still a board control battle. So do you go for Defender of Argus or do you go for Implosion? Is there any Bane of Doom, maybe?
Yeah, I like Bane of Doom here.
Alright, is it Illidan?
Okay, a little weak.
Well, it's a free, come on. 2 points of damage, a free for 5 mana. I think it's a fair deal. Obviously, it could have been Mal'Ganis or Illidan, or Doomguard, or Pitlord, or Infernal. Okay, it's actually a weak demon. Still better than a Void Caller.
Huh.
So Neirea deciding to clear the small demon.
That was strange. He could have just hero powered there instead of using up the Savage Roar. I don't think the Savage Roar did very much. Unless I'm missing something.
No, I think hero power is fine. Maybe he is actually tired. Or maybe he thinks he has such an advantage that he can do some plays that are making us wonder. You know, just trolling the casters. It's like, oh, I'm going to do Savage Roar, so that Monk actually wonders, why did I do that?
And yeah, unfortunately, I believe this is game over.
Yeah, that's 8 points of damage. Well, even 9 plus 7, 16 points of damage from Forsen this turn.
Yeah, so yeah, unfortunately, Neirea, he had an amazing start, but his follow-ups were just kind of really weak.
Yeah, but again,
he floated so much. He pretty much floated mana like every single turn.
Yeah.
And there's like pretty much like he made I believe the correct turns mostly for the most part every single turn, but it just wasn't enough. Forsen's draw just made Neirea very awkward.
There was a different line of play where he would just coin the Raft to kill the Flame Imp, and then Innervate Keeper on 2. Would that change things?
Yeah.
Not really, I think.
Yeah, I agree. But you know what?
Right.
I think this, out of all three matchups, this might be the best for Druid, perhaps. And wow, Neirea, for the third game in a row, he gets the Faceless. Just like kind of a dead card in this matchup, exactly what you don't want.
Yeah, I agree. Alright, but this is it, guys. This is game number 5. The winner advances to tomorrow. The loser goes home. Forsen versus Neirea. Mage, Shaman versus Druid. Who is going to take it? Who has an edge? Is it like... Alright, you said this is the better matchup for Druid out of all 3 that Forsen brought. But it's still a bad matchup, right?
Yeah, exactly. Like, it doesn't have mirror entities, but just mechs are so hard for Druid to deal with because you don't have like all the AoEs in your deck. Like you basically have 2 swipes, and if you don't draw into your swipes, then you're gonna be very sad.
All right, and there is no swipe for Neirea now, so he's definitely sad. He looks sad. Like look at his face. Like he's just facing his monitor.
All right, Walled Growth isn't a bad draw here. He's gonna be able to curve out into the Emperor, and he's gonna be. And you know what? Next turn he even has the BGH in order to deal with the Fell Reaver.
Yeah.
So definitely winnable. Definitely very winnable for Forsen, or rather for Neirea.
All right, and Forsen is going for that 8/8 Fell Reaver for full mana. The BM from Neirea. He has that BGH.
Yeah, he has the BGH, and now this is a good Savage Roar turn. Great sequencing for Neirea, just using a Savage Roar before the BGH in order to burn some more cards.
I've got the beast in my sights.
He also gets his third part.
Second Fell Reaver even. Burns Ragnaros, so no Whirling Zapomatics. So yeah, I would say it's certainly winnable for Neirea at this point.
Yeah, he got a taunt. He will be able to use Shapeshift next turn, so even though Forsen has some kind of board, Neirea has a chance. Like before, it looked really grim.
Yeah, that BGH swing was exactly what Neirea needed, but he's still in a fairly tenuous position. There's quite a lot of bursts in Forsen's hand. So Neirea goes for the Emperor Thorzen play. Hopefully, this Emperor Thorzen reads Taunt on it. Hopefully, Forsen will think that he has to kill it.
Well, Fire Elemental. Well, if Forsen with this burst, he actually goes for the kill here. Thorsten was nice because next turn he will be able to play 2 taunts.
Yeah, 2 Druids of the Claw here. In fact, actually 3 Druids of the Claw.
3 Druids of the Claw.
In Neirea's hand currently. But maybe the question is, do you faceless the Druid of the Claw, or do you faceless the Fire Elemental? The Fire Elemental is a little stronger, but you might be scared of dying at this point.
So if you faceless the Fire Elemental, you get a 4/6 that's going to die to Fire Elemental, and then 3 damage to face from the mech, and there's 13 points of damage that you can take.
Yeah, I like this a little better because it allows you to You have the keeper follow up. Oh wow, even reversing switch this. I thought he was gonna reversing switch the
totem.
and just kill it instantly. But yeah, this makes quite a bit of sense. Changing the fire elemental to a 5/6, so it just can't get a free Druid of the Claw kill.
All right, Forsen needs to crackle 6 on one of the Druids of the Claw, I believe. He has a spell damage. Is that a 6 or a 4?
Are we crossing his fingers? Oh, no!
Man, Forsen unsatisfied with that.
Yeah, that means Forsen's gonna have to give up his Rock Biter and take 4 extra damage to the face.
Yeah, this is so weird. Like, he has to also spend both minions on the other one.
Yeah, exactly. Like, how do you kill the other Druid of the Claw? Oh, he's just gonna freeze it here. But
Just
that
giving him
buys,
some time.
yeah, that buys Neirea a lot of time.
Yeah, Neirea is still like fine on 16 points of health.
Third Druid of the Claw coming down. Yeah, he's gonna. Yeah, charge is. I like charge here. Just
Killing
clearing up
the
the board
Cog
immensely.
Master as well. This is looking good for Neirea. He basically stopped Forsen. Forsen needs something big. Is Flame Tongue the big card?
It's not big, but it's certainly very useful here.
Alright, saving the healing totem, because I believe he's going to attack into the 4-1. Or do you go for face? No, I believe you do kill the 4-1 here.
Oh no, what a bad totem for Forsen. He definitely wanted that the taunt totem here.
But then, do you agree with positioning? Like, if Flame Tongue... Well, Flame Tongue was certainly going to die, and he wanted the healing totem, so I guess it's fine.
Yeah, not like the best positioning, but I think he was forced into that positioning.
Yep, Forsen was definitely forced there. A taunt totem, nice. Very nice for Forsen here. And now a swipe would be interesting.
Oh!
Zopchow. This is so bad for Neirea.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Bottom deck
Ciao.
here. And now Forsen is just 4 points away from finishing the game up. Or 5 points because this Fire Elemental's a 5-2, right?
Yeah. And Neutron is not a great card.
It's alright. It's alright. It's a taunt and it
But
allows...
he's looking for burst, right? Like he wants the... I guess he has the burst with the Anoyatron. If Anoyatron is not answered, he will be 1 damage of lethal. Or 2 damage though, with the shapeshift.
So... is this over?
No, he's 1 damage of lethal, I believe.
Alright.
No,
1
he's
damage
not.
off lethal.
Yeah, he is. Okay.
Yet again. And unfortunately that's not it. But you know what? I think Forsen still has this in the bag. What one card can Neirea draw that puts him back into this game?
Well, even Deathwing is not really saving him, because then there will be a minion from Piloted Shredder. So he needs a Deathwing, and a Deathwing hitting like something like a Pilot, like a Flame Tongue Totem. I think that's it. Like, there is no way to win with Force Nature, and no way to survive with Force Nature, unless there is a Doomsayer. So...
Wait a minute. He can get like... Oh!
Oh, wow!
Alright,
Okay.
that's a great one. He can follow up with Force of Nature, somewhat clear the board, and...
Yeah, this is
Wow.
exciting. Still playing not to die, right? It's I can't believe that he will be able to stabilize. Forsen's just smiling at this. Forsen sees like, oh wait, are you actually coming back from 1 health? Forsen is shaking his head. It's like, seriously? Forsen, please. Neirea just counting damage. Using the tools. So what can Forsen draw? I think there's around like 12 to 14 cards that are lethal.
Well, he's already used one. He can either draw a Fire Elemental, his second Crackle, his second Fire Elemental, or a Lava Burst.
Earthshock is lethal as well.
It's true. Dr. Boom is lethal, kind of.
Okay.
You know, what BGH has been used? Oh, actually,
Yeah.
was BGH used this game? It's
No,
been
wait.
used, yeah.
Not this game. Or was this? Yeah, Fell Reaver. There was a Fell Reaver.
And look at that. Look at Forsen with
Double
his signature
Innervate.
BM. Double Innervate. Great cards in this matchup, but unfortunately a bit late. So he has to hope for Doomsayer, hope that both these bombs hit the Anotron for 1. but that's unfortunately not going to happen. And Forsen's plan prevails. He brought 3 decks to snipe Druid, and he sniped Druid quite effectively, I would have to say.
Yeah, with the bomb till the end. So Forsen is going to take the match and advance to tomorrow. He can chill today and prepare. Oh man, what a match. It's like Neirea was winning 2-0 and then we were laughing, yeah, oh Forsen. And Forsen did what you said. Like basically he was targeting the Druid and Druid never won a game. Is Druid that bad, or did Forsen really prepare a great matchup, you know, great lineup against the Druid?
Yeah, I don't think Druid is bad at all in this format and this metagame, but fortunately for Forsen, he had exactly what he needed. Forsen targeted the Druid, not that popular in lineups these days. I think Warlock and Warrior are the most popular decks in the format, but there's still going to be, I would suspect, at least half the players in this tournament would be bringing Druid, so definitely a strong lineup for Forsen.
All right, so this will wrap up match number 1. Right now we are going for a short break, guys, but then don't go anywhere. We're going to continue with the matches. We have 7 more. Wait, how many matches do we have? 7 more matches today, right?
7 whole matches for you today.
An exciting day. Okay, guys, so a short break, and after that we're going to come back.